Hello, welcome back to another episode of Neptune Novelties. I hope you're having a good day, or you had a good day so far. And just let's relax for a little bit and just focus on a whole other world where it's all about love and happiness. Now today we're going to talk about a book called The Goodluck Charm by Helena Hunting. It is a sporty romance, actually. The plots are friends to lovers, childhood friends to lovers to be specific, and it's also a second chance romance. Our stars are Ethan Casey, who is an NHL player, and Delilah Jane, who is a nurse. The storyline actually starts when Ethan comes back to town. Now, we know that Ethan has broken up with Delilah, but she goes by Lila by now. But because of a family emergency where his father has a stroke, he comes back to town in Minnesota. And that's when we start seeing all of the flames being rekindled between Delilah and Ethan. Now, Delilah, she doesn't have a good family to be specific. She has 5 other siblings, and she's only in contact with her older sister, who is 3 years older than her, Carmen. But basically, ever since she was 6, she came to town, and she was the neighbor of Ethan. And after a while, her father left, and their house was really a chaos, which is really sad. But she finds comfort in the house of Casey's, which is Ethan and his 2 older brothers and his parents. Ethan's parents are really the old type of love that I think many people are wishing for in this generation. They met kind of when they were young, in their 20s apparently. And ever since then, they've been together, and they have a really good family and marriage. And they really love Delilah, so it ends up with Delilah and Ethan spending a lot of time together ever since she was 6. And that all changes when Ethan grows up. They both grow up, but Ethan is really focused on his career, which is to be drafted for hockey. And during the first year of college, that happens to him. Now, Ethan and his father don't have the best kind of relationship, and he never listens to his father, Martin. But Martin advises him to break up with Delilah, which was a bad way of him trying to make Ethan to stay in Minnesota and not go to LA. So that happens, and Ethan leaves Minnesota and moves to LA, breaking up with Delilah and leaving everything behind. Now he's having a bad season, and he has to be traded to Minnesota, which is the second reason that he goes back home. And like I said, Delilah is a nurse. She actually wanted to be a doctor first, but it changed. And that would be the very first time that Delilah and Ethan meet after 8 years of separation. Even though Lila and Ethan broke up, she was very much in touch and very close to Ethan's parents. They kind of became her real parents, the ones that actually helped raise her. So when Martin has a stroke, she insists on being his nurse. Now, during this 8 years, actually, Lila, she got married and she got divorced. She changed her mind about her major, but she's a nurse and she is trying to get into, get her master's. So she's both a student and a nurse. And Ethan is supposed to be in Minnesota for only a year, and then he has the chance to actually prove himself because he's been very bad lately, and this 1 year is either going to be the end of his career and he just has to deal with some bad stuff, or he proves that he's worthy and he becomes more of a legend than he already is. That's all of the things that I would have said about this book. Now, what I think is that I actually really enjoyed it more than I thought that I would. The relationship of these two is really mature and very, very healthy, which I think it's kind of raw to find, especially in romance books and especially in sporty romance, because I feel like lately so many toxic traits and miscommunication and many bad things have been romanticized. So many writers write about negative stuff and many angst and sadness and all of that. So to find this really healthy relationship and the way they communicate, the connection that they have, the way they approach things, which is, I think it makes sense because they're like 27, 28. But then again, age is just an age. You could find many people who are like 50 or something and they're still not mature. So that's the biggest thing that I loved about their connection. But still they have their own struggles and they try to keep this, again, new thing very good, that they avoid some kind of questions, which they shouldn't. But well, at the end they actually talk about it and work it out, but still. And one of the things that Delilah actually approaches in her story and in her point of view, which was really interesting to me, was how much love she had for Ethan and how much they both revolve their worlds around each other. That there is the possibility of losing sight of all of the other things in their lives. Delilah was way more intense, especially she says that after Ethan leaving, she felt like she had nothing to herself because she gave so much of herself to Ethan and to their relationship that she was very confused and she felt empty, which is not something that she wants to experience again. It is sweet how much she wants things to work out with Ethan, and Ethan feels the same. Again, I really love that the relationship is very equal for both of them, that they both really care about it. They both really devote themselves to their relationship, which is again really sweet. But to have your own life outside of the only relationship is something I think especially most girls deal with. So to have this female character, to have Delilah mention that I love you, but I still want to go to school, I still love my job, and I should not lose sight of myself, and I shouldn't let myself drown in only my love for you. I need to have all of these other stuff in my life, and these are my boundaries, and I am not gonna let go of my goals just the way you didn't let go of your goals. So she has this really sweet but determined energy, which is, again, really something that I loved about this female characters, and I would really appreciate seeing more of such characters in other books. And something else that happened was how Ethan called Delilah his Goodluck charm and how much he was attached to his pregame rituals. That kind of bothered Delilah because she felt a lot of pressure because of that. So like if he did bad, she would feel guilty because of how much he thought Delilah had something to do with. So again, this book really focuses on something sweet being able to turn into negative pressure, which again, they work it through. And Delilah's relationship with her sister Carmen is also good. I like how she still has that blood family. And towards the end of the book, something dramatic happens. I don't want to spoil that. That was kind of a shock. But all in all, I'm really happy it worked out good. And Ethan and Delilah have a very lovely relationship. I absolutely really am rooting for them. And it was so refreshing to see something healthy and sweet and mature going on in this book. So if those are the things that you would also like to read about, I advise you to read it. I rated 5 out of 5 because I really enjoyed it, and I don't want to be, I'm not that hard to give stars to books, especially when I enjoy them. I'm not trying to find flaws. I focus on the good parts, which is, again, why I only read happily ever after ones. That was all for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you're an author and would like me to review your book, you can always contact me through email. Stay positive and romanticize the good parts of your life and manifest only lovely things. It is lovely to find good people to love, but it's also important to not lose sight of the love that you should have for yourself. Take care and laters.